The scandal-shaking Stamford Bridge has cast yet another shadow over modern football's so-called guardians of integrity. Chelsea, one of England's proudest clubs, has been hit with a staggering 74 accusations of financial misconduct, with charges ranging from dubious agent payments to third-party involvement in transfers. The allegations focus squarely on the Roman Abramovich era, a time when the club made some of its most iconic signings, players like Eden Hazard, Willian, and even Samuel Eto'o. For many fans, this all feels like déjà vu. The memory of Manchester City's 115 unresolved charges still hangs in the air, untouched by verdicts, untouched by consequences. And now, as the investigation into Chelsea unfolds, reports suggest the outcome will be little more than a financial penalty, perhaps around £8 million. A slap on the wrist. To the neutral fan, it feels like the same story on repeat. The Giants bend the rules, the Giants buy their way out, and the sport moves on as if nothing ever happened. Everton went 10 points down for going over budget by a few million, teetering on the edge of relegation. Yet City continues to dominate trophies while waiting endlessly for judgment. PSG pays its fines and carries on stacking superstars. And now Chelsea looks set to escape with little more than a dent in its wallet. This, it seems, is the reality of modern football. A game where wealth grants immunity and justice is only for those too small to fight back. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Europe, a different kind of story has unfolded. Aymeric Laporte has officially returned to the place where it all began, Athletic Bilbao. After 7 years at Manchester City and a season with Al Nassr, the 31-year-old defender has signed a 3-year deal to bring him home. His return wasn't straightforward. In fact, it nearly collapsed altogether. On September 1st, Bilbao tried to finalize the deal, but Al Nassr failed to enter the data into FIFA's transfer system in time. The transfer was blocked until the Spanish Federation appealed, forcing FIFA to grant an exemption. Now Laporte is back in training, already preparing for his debut against Alaves, a timely reinforcement after Yere Alvarez's 10-month suspension left Bilbao short in defense. For the Basque faithful, the prodigal son has come home. In North London, Arsenal are quietly fighting a battle of their own. William Saliba, the cornerstone of Mikel Arteta's defense, has been offered a new 5-year contract despite already being tied down until 2027. The Gunners know his importance. His injury at the end of the 2023 campaign derailed their title push, exposing just how irreplaceable he is. But Real Madrid is circling. In Spain, he's already being hailed as the Bellingham of defenders, a sign that their interest is deadly serious. Arsenal can only hope they convince him of their project before the lure of Madrid pulls him away. Lose Saliba, and Arteta doesn't just lose a player, he loses the very spine of his system. Elsewhere, the ever-unpredictable Christian Eriksen has taken another twist in his storied career. While reports had placed him on the verge of joining Bayer Leverkusen, the Danish maestro has instead signed with Wolfsburg. The contract runs until 2027, and he will wear the number 24 shirt. For Wolfsburg, it is more than just a signing, it's a statement. Eriksen brings experience from England, Italy, and the Netherlands, and with 5 Danes already at the club, he will enter a familiar environment that could reignite his late career spark. Eriksen himself admitted this may be the final great challenge of his career, but as he steps into the Bundesliga for the very first time, he does so with the same quiet determination that made him a survivor against all odds. And then there is Zinedine Zidane, whose name never stays away from headlines for long. 4 years he has refused offers from clubs like PSG, Bayern, and Juventus, waiting patiently for the only job he truly wanted, the French national team. According to reports, an agreement is already in place. Didier Deschamps will remain in charge until after the 2026 World Cup, but once the tournament is over, the keys will be handed to Zidane. For French football, it could mark the dawn of a new era, one where their greatest modern player steps into the role he has always seemed destined to fill. Across the channel, Manchester United have finally cut ties with one of their most controversial figures. Andre Onana, whose time at Old Trafford was marred by calamity after calamity, has been loaned to Trabzonspor. The numbers are damning. In just 2 seasons, Onana conceded 150 goals in 102 games, managing only 24 clean sheets. Signed from Inter for over €50 million, his arrival once looked like a logical step forward. Instead, it became a nightmare. The move to Turkey carries no buy option, a clear sign that this is exile, not a restart. United fans exhausted by the endless errors will see this as closure. Onana, however, will pocket over €5 million per year, a payday for a goalkeeper many feel never truly earned his place in England. But perhaps the most intriguing saga belongs once again to Arsenal, this time surrounding Gabriel Martinelli. Once tipped as one of the Premier League's brightest young wingers, Martinelli now risks becoming the next casualty of Arteta's tactical evolution. With new arrivals like Ebereki Eze and Noni Madueke increasing competition on the flanks, Martinelli has found himself marginalized. No goals, no assists in the early rounds, even benched entirely against Leeds. Arsenal are said to be open to selling if the right offer comes in. His value has already plummeted from £85 million to £55, and it continues to slide. If he fails to reset by 2026, the club may be forced to let him go at a loss. A classic case of failing to sell at the peak and now watching the price drain away. Meanwhile, Juventus midfielder Douglas Luiz has been shipped on loan to Nottingham Forest, but with a catch. The deal contains a mandatory buy clause triggered if he plays 15 matches of at least 45 minutes each. The structure is simple: $3 million for the loan, $25 million for the permanent deal, plus $3.5 in bonuses. If triggered, Luiz will sign until 2030 with a $5 million a year salary. After a quiet stint in Turin, his future now rests on his performances in England. And as one career looks for revival, another has already skyrocketed. Barcelona's teenage prodigy Lamine Yamal has been crowned La Liga Player of the Season for 2024-25. At just 17, he recorded 9 goals and 13 assists in 35 matches, numbers that make him not just a star for Barcelona but a global sensation. Transfermarkt has already labeled him the world's most valuable player, and this award only solidifies his role as the new face of Spanish football. In a league searching for its next Messi, its next Ronaldo, Yamal might already be the answer. Elsewhere in Italy, Inter Milan continues to chase Roma's Manu Kone. Valued as almost unsellable just months ago, his status has shifted as Roma now scramble to raise $90 million by June 2026 to meet financial fair play. Kone played 34 matches last season and has established himself as a regular in the French national team, but the financial reality may force Roma's hand. Inter, sensing weakness, are ready to move again. Finally, the whispers of a homecoming stir in Lisbon. Bernardo Silva, the jewel of Manchester City's midfield, could return to Benfica as early as January 2026. João Neurona Lopes, a candidate for the Benfica presidency, has made Silva's signing a centerpiece of his campaign. With Silva's contract expiring that summer, he would be free to negotiate in January, and Lopes has already called him the embodiment of Benfica's culture. Should Lopes win the election, negotiations with City could begin at once, or Silva could walk for free in the summer. For City, it would be the end of an era. For Benfica, it would be the return of a prodigal son. And as Liverpool manager Arne Slot recently admitted, sometimes the hardest decisions are the most painful. He explained the exclusion of Federico Chiesa from the Champions League squad, describing it as one of the toughest conversations he has had with a player. Chiesa was disappointed, frustrated, but ultimately willing to fight in the competitions that remain. In modern football, careers can change on a single conversation, a single injury, a single transfer call. That is where we leave things tonight. Chelsea's accusations, Martinelli's uncertain future, Bernardo Silva's potential return, Zidane's looming destiny. The game never stops and the drama never fades. But what do you think? Should clubs like Chelsea and City escape with nothing more than fines, or should there be harsher punishments? Will Arsenal regret letting Martinelli go, or is his time at the Emirates already over? And can Zidane truly usher in a new golden age for France when he takes over? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video so you never miss the stories shaping the world of football.